Hey guys, it's Megan. We're back in the library today for a book unboxing like we used to do, and we haven't done it in a while, so I thought, why not do it today since I just got a box of books in recently that I have not opened. Well, I technically opened it, but I've not looked at the books. Then also behind me, you may notice the setting is a little bit different today because we are facing the other direction and we're having a book fair, which is going to be another video later on about just kind of a vlog about what's going on at my library and how we're having a high school book fair and how successful it is and what's up with it. So I just thought I'd film in front of it today. So without further ado though, let's get into the unboxing. So as always, I'm not sure what is sent in this box. This is Junior Library Guild that sends me 8 books a month, just kind of popular ones that they think are kind of up and coming, or ones that have already been popular. I know I see the top book on in this box is Jade Fire Gold, and I've heard of this book by June C.L. Tan. I don't know anything about it. I'm assuming it's definitely fantasy. Her Destiny, His Revenge. So I'm not gonna read all this, but I know it's a fantasy novel that I hear talked about a lot. So this is one that I'll probably definitely look into to see who, what type of students I would recommend this to. Next, let's see, we have a book I've never seen before. The Year I Stopped Trying, a novel by Katie Henney. That's interesting, and it's really short. Look at that. It's also really pretty colors, so I like that. It's not even 250 pages with gigantic spacing between lines. Oh wow, look at that. I've never seen a book written that way. Lots of spacing, between each paragraph. Does she not know how to, I don't know. I've just never seen spacing between each paragraph, but it's like that. Okay, interesting. Mary is having an existential crisis. She's a good student. She never gets in trouble. She has an after-school job, but she's also searching for the meaning of life. She always thought she'd find it by doing extra credit assignments in calculus, but by junior year, she isn't so sure anymore. The first time, it's an accident. She forgets to do a history assignment. She even crosses off history essay in her pristine planner, and then nothing happens. She doesn't burst into flames. The world doesn't end. The teacher doesn't even pull her aside after class. She asks herself, why am I trying so hard? What if I stop? It says this has wit and heaps of dark humor. It's a stunning YA novel that sprints full force into big tangled questions about coming of age and adeptly unravels their web. Oh, wow. I actually feel like I should read this because I used to be this way. I had to make all A's or else, I guess, and I don't know what I thought was going to happen. Maybe I thought I was going to explode into flames or something. But now I realize not everything has to be perfect, and life's a lot easier when you're more of a type B personality than a type A personality, which I really, really used to be. And I think I'm leaning more towards type B now. Anyway, so I think I might actually read this book because this sounds like it would speak to me. And I have a feeling some of my students would probably enjoy this as well. The next book I see in the box is one I've never heard of, but it's by Neal Shusterman. And I don't know if this is maybe his son or something, but Jared Shusterman, I guess we'll find out. But obviously Neal Shusterman is super famous, sci-fi young adult author, wrote Scythe, the Unwind series. But let's see, who is Jared Shusterman? So it doesn't tell. This is interesting. I'm gonna assume it's his son. We're just making that up. But anyway, but this is called Roxy, but it's spelled RX. So I'm gonna guess this is about prescription drugs, which is interesting because Neal Shusterman, of course, usually writes sci-fi, but I know his last novel he wrote was kind of more even fantasy potentially. But this novel, let's see, this one says, above our world, a toxic wonderland where the party has raged for centuries. Humans know the partygoers simply as narcotics, opioids, and drugs. But here there are malevolent gods. Interesting. So I don't know what I would even classify this book as. It says, so there's malevolent gods, but it says Isaac and Ivy Ramey are their targets. Ivy is understimulated and over-medicated. Isaac is desperate to push past an ankle injury that may jeopardize his chance for a soccer scholarship. There are perfect marks for these gods, apparently. These malevolent gods. This is the start of a race to the bottom that will determine life and death. Okay, so I feel like it's going to ask a lot of big questions, but then sort of have a fantasy sci-fi element to it, which I think is what he's more leaning towards now, Neal Shusterman, because I saw his last book was kind of in the same vein where it tackled modern, big topics, but also in sort of a fantasy setting. I think it was called Game Changer. So I'll definitely look into this one. I don't think I'd read it, but I see some interesting poetry maybe or something in the back. I don't see any throughout, but I do see different points of view. So yeah, I'll look into it. Okay, next looks like a book that I have heard of, I don't know anything about White Smoke by Tiffany D. Jackson. I know that she is the author of Grown, which everybody loves. It was one of our KBA books that was a Kentucky Book Award nominee. I think it was a mystery, but this looks like, it says creepy, frightening, I wanted to scream by R.L. Stine. So I guess it's a thriller. Yeah, thrilling, chilling, utterly riveting. It's got a deliciously creepy atmosphere and characters you really hope make it to the end. So it's blurbed on the back by Karen McManus, who wrote One of Us is Lying, which is like one of our most popular mystery novels in our library, and R.L. Stine and Courtney Summers, who wrote Sadie and The Project. So, this is a haunted house story that takes it to the next level. Oh, I wanted to scream. Okay, so this, I'm not gonna read it all, but apparently it's like haunted house, and it's a chilling psychological thriller that takes her own modern take on the classic haunted house novel that will leave you wondering what lies beneath your own floorboards. Okay, so I honestly think I might read that. Okay, let's see what's next. Oh, the next one I have heard of. Yep. Our Violent Ends. This is the sequel to These Violent Delights, which I know is like some sort of Romeo and Juliet retelling that everyone talks about, and they say the first one is way better, I believe, than the second one. I'm pretty sure that's what they say. This one's huge. It's almost 500 pages. But I think it's set, is it in Shanghai? Yeah, it's the 1900s, like 1927 in Shanghai, and it's like there's Roma and Juliet. Okay, well, they didn't vary too far from the names. Roma and Juliet. And that's all I know about it, except that it's obviously a Romeo and Juliet retelling. I hear that it's decent, so that's why I'm not going to read it, because if it's not going to be like 4 or 5 stars, if it's just a 3-star read, then why would I bother? But this is the sequel. It's just the 2 of them. It's a duology. So I'm glad we got this in, though, in case students read the first one, then they can definitely come read the second one, which is definitely much bigger. We've got a couple more in here that I've never heard of this one. Spin Me Right Round by David Valdez. When you wake up in the past, the future is yours. Okay, definitely never heard of this one. So let's just read about it and see. I'm gonna guess it could be romance, but it definitely is at least probably realistic fiction. Let's see. Luis Gonzalez is having a blast in the past. All Luis wants is to go to prom with his boyfriend, something his progressive high school still doesn't allow. Not after what happened with Chaz Wilson, but that was ages ago when Luis's parents were students there. It would never happen today, right? He's determined to get his LGBTQ friends the respect they deserve while also securing his spot as prom king. Just saying, ... When a hit on the head knocks him back in time to 1985 and he meets the doomed young Chaz himself, Luis concocts a new plan. He's going to get this guy his first real kiss, which may be a challenge because a conservative school in the 80s isn't the safest place to be out, especially with homophobes, including Gordo, aka Luis's estranged father, running the show. Luis is in over his head, trying not to make things worse and figuring out how to make it back to present day at all. In a story that's fresh and wickedly funny, David Valdez introduces a big-mouthed, big-hearted queer character readers won't soon forget. For some reason, this reminds me of, there was another book called Yesterday is History that was about like time travel and like a LGBTQ romance, and it was about like a liver transplant that when the kid gets the liver transplant, the liver, it turns out, comes with like time travel side effects because the person he got the liver transplant from could time travel or something. Anyway, and he goes back in the past and like falls in love with the boy in the past, and then he also falls in love with the boy in the present, and he has to decide between the two. So I don't know why, but this reminds me of that. Well, probably because it's also going back into the past. This one's in 1985 though, so not as far as the other one was, like the 50s or 60s or something like that. And this one, he gets knocked back in time. How? Oh, he just gets hit on the head. Okay. So that's interesting. Okay. I mean, I probably wouldn't read this, but I mean, I definitely know some students who would be interested. And our last book it looks really short. I've seen this book before when I thought about ordering, I am going to order some of the, like American Library Association gives out awards, like not just the Newbery and the Caldecott. There's like a lot of other awards. And one of them, for like young adults, I remember Vinyl Moon was one of the like finalists for it. And I'd never heard of it before, but now I see how short it is. Look at this. It's like nothing. I mean, how many pages is this? It's more like a novella. 160 something pages, 164. That's it. Wow. Okay. So the cover, I love it. Vinyl Moon. I love the title, by Mahogany Brown, but I have no idea what it's about. It says it's the story of a young woman whose California life is upended by domestic violence and how she leans on words, friendship, and the discovery of inner strength to start again in Brooklyn. It says, one day I was quiet, next day I had nothing to lose, but here I am. An absolute masterpiece, says Elizabeth Acevedo, who wrote The Poet X and With the Fire on High, so she's really well known. Oh, it's got some poetry. Yeah, okay. So it's got a little poetry mixed in, a little bit of, I saw some text messages, things like that mixed in as well. It says it weaves together prose, poems, and vignettes to tell the story of Angel, a young woman whose past was shaped by domestic violence, but whose love of language and music and the gift of community grant her the chance to find herself again. So I definitely have students that are interested. I'm, of course, more of a fantasy sci-fi reader, so it's not really for me, being like realistic fiction, but I will definitely recommend it to some people. So those are some of the new books that we got in the library. We're going to catalog these today and get them out on the shelves. I am pretty excited about some of them. I'm not sure, this is not my most exciting box because I don't think that I'd read too many. Honestly, the ones I am shocked that I'm most excited about are probably White Smoke, because it was the haunted house one, and The Year I Stopped Trying. Like that one sounds like me. So I think these are the two that I might actually read, or at least look into a little bit further. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. We'll do it again next month when I get my next box of monthly books. So I will see you guys again soon. Have a good day. Bye.